everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Emily here. We have our first and hopefully one of very limited book hauls. I mean, in the sense of I have a lot of books. I have a large physical TBR and adding more to it is not the best idea. Hopefully this is it for at least the first half of 2026. Hopefully most of 2026 if I'm being honest. Like I said, book haul, first one of 2026 because we got some books obviously. Now some of these that I'm going to talk about are going to be repeats, and I'm going to start with those ones because I had mentioned some of these in my January TBR jar prompt video where I mentioned some that I got at Barnes, but we've gotten some others in. And I thought I'd go just a teeny tiny bit more in depth on why I got some of the ones, why I chose some of the ones, and some of them I won't go in depth on. I'll just say I grabbed it because I grabbed it. So essentially for Christmas, I asked for Barnes & Noble's gift cards. Sometimes there are years where you say you want something, but then they get the same gift for everybody in the family. That didn't happen this year. I asked for Barnes & Noble gift card. I got Barnes & Noble gift cards. So thank you, family. Love you. Appreciate it. I used it. I used your money. And we're girl mathing. We're going to talk a lot of girl math during this because I saw somebody say one of their ins for 2026 is girl math. And there's a lot of girl math going on in here, okay? So we'll talk about that when we get to each little section. But we got a couple of Barnes & Noble gift cards. We got some books in our book of the month. And we got books from Book Outlet because we had some coupons there too. So let's dive into this. I first want to start with my little bookish decor that I grabbed from Michael's. I think we've all seen the vids. Michael's is hopping on the book trend. It was a little pricey in my opinion for some of their stuff. Some of it, not all of it. We're watching you, Michael's. But I did grab this little frame guy that just says fantasy reader because we all know she's hitting fantasy this year. And I got a ton of the little street signs. We have Fantasy Lane. Trying to be very careful. These are ceramic. We have Romance Street. We have Fiction Avenue. And we have the To Be Read Boulevard. This one's probably my favorite just because it sits on my To Be Read shelves. I don't have the thriller one. I'm gonna try and get it because I didn't have a shelf of thrillers, but I do now. And so I kind of want to get it. I got those from Michael's. I thought they were cute. They're a little extra decor. My decor has kind of been slacking. I have some, and it kind of goes with where it is, but some of them don't. Some of them are just like pieces I've collected. Like I have the Empire State Building. I stole that from my sister when I was like 15. She didn't take it with her to college, so I kept it. And I've had it ever since. I have a beer sign that I got in Bavaria when I went to Germany. And I have a knight who I got from Toledo, Spain, that is made out of sword pieces. He's probably one of my favorite pieces I've ever picked up anywhere. Try and put a little picture in here of that so you can see it. But yeah, anyways, needed a little more decor, so that's why I got these. I like that they're all the same, cohesive, so that it kind of ties the whole bookshelf together. I'm gonna put these to the side though, because I do not trust myself. And one of these are bound to break in the next year. So I said we were gonna start and talk about the ones that we've already talked about. It's this pile right here. It's the first Barnes & Noble trip. The second Barnes & Noble's trip I'll put behind it. Okay, I'm just gonna put these in order real quick. This is the first stack that I got from Barnes & Noble's. We got this right after Christmas. It was a 25% off sale. I had my gift card. I have the Barnes & Noble Premium, so you get 10% discount as well. So that's like part one of girl math. But these books, yeah, they are ones that were like on my radar. I was gonna grab them no matter what. They were gonna end up in my possession, and so I grabbed them when I went. So let's dive into these. The first book, Phantasma, Kaylee Smith. As we know, this is in my January TBR. This one I've been wanting to read for a long time, ever since I saw this as an option on Book of the Month. I was like, I need to grab this book. I want this book. I never grabbed it. Finally grabbed it. It's in my January TBR. Guess what? She read it. I can't wait to talk to you about this in my January wrap-up because she was good. I liked this. Jade City, Fonda Lee, again, just been on my horizon. I said it at the beginning, I've been saying it every video. We're getting into fantasy this year. I would say over half of these books are actually fantasy that I got if I'm looking at it correctly. We have a handful of romance, but we're mostly fantasy because like we said, we're getting into fantasy this year. Ninth House, Lee Bardugo. I'm also very much behind on very popular books. You're going to see me grab a bunch of popular books. You're going to be like, why haven't you read this before? Because I never gave in, and now I'm choosing to give in. So we grabbed that. We grabbed Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. I have never read a graphic novel before, and I've kind of wanted to try reading manga just because I feel like I'd like it. I kind of like the idea of having pictures to go along with it, and the fact that people are like putting their story with pictures is really nice. And like I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Pokemon, and I think I'd be really into manga. I know that I don't think this one is technically it. I think it's just considered a graphic novel. But I've heard good things about this series. It is on the smaller side, so I could see it being a fun read, and I believe my library has the rest of them. So it's like something, if I don't feel like committing to the whole series, of purchasing the whole series, then I can go to my library and get it. Probably should have done that with the first book, I know, but it's my life, so let me do what I want to do. We have Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wang. I've heard mixed reviews on this. Some people I have seen love it. There are some people who have read it and they've said they've completely forgot about it. We're gonna try it. It's a nice, good floppy book. That's always a good reason to buy, in my opinion. We love a good floppy book. Belladonna by Adeline Grace. This one, I actually haven't really seen people talk about it. I've seen people talk about Wisteria, which is the third book, which is kind of weird because it's like they were talking about the third book in the series, but not these ones. What is going on? Sorry, there's a hockey game going on behind me, and there's just absolute craziness ensuing on the screen. What was I saying? So, Belladonna, I've heard people talk about Wisteria, which is the third one. And they've talked really good things about the whole series when they've talked about it. And so I saw it and decided to grab it. Next up, we have Alice Feeney, Rock, Paper, Scissors. Now, you've heard me talk about My Husband's Wife is coming out on the 20th. I already own it because it was in Book of the Month, and I grabbed the Book of the Month version of it. Alice Feeney. This one, I have heard one person talk about it. They just said, read this book. They didn't really explain it. So I looked at it when I went to go book shopping, obviously. And the back says, things have been wrong with Mr. and Mrs. Wright for a long time. Every anniversary, the couple exchange traditional gifts, and Adam's wife writes him a letter she never lets him read. Until now. Self-confessed workaholic, Adam has face blindness. He can't even recognize his own wife, and Amelia is sick of feeling unseen. When Adam and Amelia went a weekend away to Scotland, it might be just what their marriage needs. This weekend may make or break their marriage, but they didn't randomly win this trip. One of them is lying, and someone doesn't want them to live happily ever after. 10 years of marriage, 10 years of secrets, and an anniversary they will never forget. What? So they won a trip to Scotland, but like, they didn't actually win it? Someone's lying? So did someone pay for it? So did, like, just so much confusion going on. I have no idea, and I want to read it. I'm starting to get a little bit into thrillers. I think horror is something I don't think I'll ever read, because I've heard people talk about some horror books and I am not in it. Like, no. Like, they all very much sound Human Centipede, and I'm good. I don't need that. But thriller, I think, is something that I can get into. Now, am I going to have to read it in the middle of the daylight, maybe outside while the sun is shining on me? Yes. I don't think I can do it in the evening, because I'll admit I'm a little scary cat. So this one seemed really good, so that's why I grabbed it. And since I was grabbing My Husband's Wife as well, I was like, you know what? We're gonna give her 2 books and see how they go. This next one I can't wait for. Assistant to the Villain. I've seen only good things about this, but I recently saw someone's review on it say they didn't like it. I really want to read this because people say it's really funny. That it has like comedic banter, is that the word I'm looking for? I don't know. They say that you like laugh during it. And I love a good book where you just LOL in the middle of it, where you're reading and you like actually laugh out loud. Like I had that earlier on my lunch break when I was reading, because some of the banter in Butcher and Blackbird, I'm like, oh my god, get out of here. Like, this is kind of funny. That's kind of why I grabbed this one, because I think it sounds like a fun series. I love the length of it. I love that it's about villains. I think we're having like the year of the villains. You know, it's kind of always like that bad boy-esque thing. I feel like villains are coming back. I feel like they go away, they come back, and they've been away for a little bit, and it's time for them to come back. So I think villains are going to be in this year. A lot of the books too that I've gotten, I have book 1 of a series, or I've completed series. It's kind of the thing that goes on here, especially this round at Barnes. I was like, I'm buying the first one just to see if I like it, and then we'll see if we'll continue. That's kind of what I was saying when I said there probably won't be like other book hauls, because I'm only going to allow myself to buy the next book in a series if I absolutely love the first book. So we're just kind of like waiting it out. But the next one, I have The Ember and the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I'll be honest, this one and the next one, I know a little bit about them. I don't know 100% about them, but people that I share the same opinions with have really liked these books, and I'm going to take their recommendations. And I think this Yeah, it's the Ember Quartet. It's a completed series, and I love a completed series because I cannot wait. I am very impatient. If like the next book is out, I want it right now. Like I can't wait. If you leave me on a cliffhanger, I'll be very upset with you. So I know this one's complete, so I feel a lot better reading it. Next up, Sarah Hasham's The Jasad Heir. Again, don't know much about this one. I think, yeah, this one is the Egyptian-inspired epic fantasy. And I just think that's going to be a different take on a fantasy. Like all these different magic worlds and fantasy worlds, I think are going to be fun. I've learned to go in slowly so that I make sure I understand the worlds first, so I don't read them too fast, but this one I think is going to be really good. I've heard mixed reviews though, so that'll be a we'll see situation. And then the last one for this bit. What? Hi. Hi. Did you just wake up? You have my little companion over here taking his little nap on a heated blanket. Okay, but the last one is The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. This one is going to be the more academia, if I believe, right? This one is the first book in a trilogy, the Eternal Path trilogy. This one, again, don't know much about. I've seen people rave about it, and I want to try it. It is a bigger book. These bigger ones are a little daunting to me. My little romance heart is really experiencing some longer books, but if they're anything like Phantasma, I was roped in. I read that in 2 days. We'll see. We'll see. It should be good. Those should be good ones. But that was the first gift card that I received. Thank you, parents. You guys are wonderful. Love you. And then I had some left over from that one and another one from a family member, and I grabbed some more. And again, this is where the girl math comes in. But because I had bought this first stack, it made me get $10 in rewards. So when it came to this stack, I had, I think, $10 left over from that first gift card. I had another $50 gift card. I had $10 rewards, and then I had 10% off that as well. And that is girl math to me. And so these 7 books, I believe, were only like $30. So girl math. I only had to spend $30, right? We agree, right? When I went to grab these books, I had already started Phantasma. I was already in love with it. So what did I do? I got Enchantra. Have I read it yet? No, because I wanted to read something else. I'm normally a series girl. I want to read series in a row, but I wanted to get to other books before I started this one. Because if Phantasma left off with a cliffhanger, I would have dived right into this. But I decided not to. I was like, you know what? I think I can wait a little bit. And maybe we'll read this next month. We don't know. But grab that. Had to. Everybody's talking about it. I know everybody says to get through this book first and then to read the second one, Golden Sun, I think. That one is better. The second and third book are better, I've heard. Even the guy at the checkout counter was like, good book. Second one's better. He's like, just get through this one. You'll be fine. And I was like, all right. That's what everybody else says. So the fact that it just kind of like confirmed that, but I was like, you know what? I'm still going to read it. Give it a try. See if I like it. A while ago, I bought the first book to the Shades of Magic trilogy. I am actually going to be reading that this weekend. We have a 3-day weekend coming up for me, and I'm hoping I can attack this series. But I did get book 2, A Gathering of Shadows, and A Conjuring of Light, which is book 3. Had no idea book 3 was this large. And I'm starting to really love these covers. I didn't like them at first. I kind of liked the other Darker Shade of Magic one where it's like the 2 worlds with the guy jumping in between them. But these ones are really starting to rub off on me. I don't know what it is with me in purple. I used to not really like purple. Really loving purple these days. So I really like this one. Hoping to attack this whole series this weekend. And so I grabbed the rest of them just because I know I'm going to love it. I know I'm going to. If I don't, I'm probably going to cry. We'll see. So grab these 2 to finish out the Shades of Magic trilogy. I almost didn't grab this next book if I didn't know it was the first book in a series, and the fact that I own book 2, which is, oh no, I can't remember. Bespelled. I have Bespelled upstairs thinking that that was book 1 to a series. It wasn't. It was book 2. Book 1 is Bewitched by Laura Talassa. It was on a table next to something else. Was it? Oh, it was next to Enchantra. That's right. It was next to Enchantra, and I was like, wait, that's book 1. I should probably grab it. And then I read the back, and this one is about, it says, at age 20, Celine desperately hopes to be accepted into Henbane Coven, an academy of young witches. And one of the requirements is to connect with her powers via a quest through the wilderness. So she books a trip to South Africa. When a nefarious supernatural force tries to drag her plane from the sky, Celine's magic awakens to save her life at a cost. Using her powers, devours her memories one by one. What? And then while she's like trying to get out of the jungle, she's met with this force. Oh, she awakens an ancient evil, Memnon the Curse. But she wakens up this evil force, right? And he follows her to her school. And that just like, I think it's gonna make some craziness ensues. And I read that and I was like, okay, I'm gonna grab this, I'm gonna buy this, and we're gonna read this. And we got book 2. I almost didn't grab these last 2 either, just because I was like, I don't know if I want to grab them. But I just hear everybody talking about them, so I'm like, I need to. And this first cover is so pretty. Heavenly Bodies by Imani Ariu. Just heard nothing but good things. Cover is gorge. We love a little metallic cover. So grab that. And then I've just heard everybody talk about this. We grabbed The Will of the Many. They did not have the Strength of the Few, which is okay. I was like, we should probably, like, this is enough. And I was kind of a little upset that this wasn't the cover with the columns on it, but honestly, I'm kind of okay with that. This looks insane. I mean, the book's a little intimidating if we're being honest. I kind of don't care. And I really like the pictures. The picture that it creates, and it'll match the second book. I think the hardcover of the second book, they made the reversible dust jacket to match the column style thing, but I'm actually kind of okay with this version. I think it's fine. I think it's fun. But those are the Barnes & Noble books out of the way. So we're trying to do the little book dance around the table. Okay, we'll do these ones next. These are some series. I grabbed these at Target. Target had exclusive editions, which I don't think much was different for the first Mistborn trilogy. So we have Mistborn, The Well of Ascension, and The Hero of Ages. And these are sprayed edges. And they also, which I like, have depictions of our characters in the first book. And then the second book, we've got I can't remember what these were called. These little like inlets or something. And then this one has like kind of like a chapel style going on. But this is the year we get into Brando Sando. I said it during my reading journal video that Chris, my fiance, is in the middle of Oathbringer, and he tries to read it when he can, but he's been reading that series for a while, and I have always said that I like kind of bet him that if I started reading the Way of Kings series that I could finish it before him. So it's kind of a challenge, but I think the Way of Kings is a little too intimidating for me, so we're gonna start with Mistborn, which, I mean, this is still a 533 page book and the words are a little on the smaller side. I figured it'd be a good start to kind of get used to his writing. And I like the idea of us reading the same books so that we can like talk about them, because I don't think he'll read most of the books that I read. I don't know, I just think it'd be kind of fun to read a book that he likes. So I definitely want to get to Way of Kings at some point, but we're starting with Mistborn. They had these editions and I couldn't miss out on them. And then they recently had what are they? The box sets. So we did get the Shadow and Bone series and then Six of Crows. The only thing that I don't like about these, because I had actually bought the Shadow and Bone series before, but I returned it because they put this stinking Netflix thing on it that is not a sticker. It does not come off. And it's on all of every single one. It's on the Shadow and Bone series. It's on each of these books. And I believe it was on, yeah, it's on the Six of Crows versions as well. Like, get out of here. Nobody wants these. I get it. Netflix made the Shadow and Bone series, but then canceled it after like 2 seasons, right? So we don't need that unless you're going to commit to the entire set. But yes, grab these because they were on sale. Girl math. Okay, next we have a mix. We have, if anybody knows, unfortunately though, my Costco has gotten rid of some. They're like trickling out of books. They had them for the holidays, but they're getting rid of them. But they had The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. Never read it. Thought I'd grab it, but didn't know it was this big. I heard mixed reviews on this. I understand the story is it's a camp. Someone goes missing, but like years before a sibling went missing, and there's supposed to be more, and it's multiple point of views, which I haven't really read before. So I'm intrigued by that, but I don't know. It's kind of I'm 50-50 on if I'm actually going to read it or if I want to donate it to my little library. I don't know. We're still back and forth. I haven't decided if I want to, but it was only like $10, I think, at Costco. So I was like, I'm just going to grab it. Why not? This next one I saw it's an interesting pairing. It's Nicholas Sparks and M. Night Shyamalan. The most weirdest pairing, so you know it's going to be the most weirdest book because of this one right here. I don't even know what it's about. I just saw that it was the two of them and I went, you know what? Let's grab it. It's called Remain and it's a supernatural love story. We all know there's going to be a weird twist or something random is going to happen that we're not going to understand and it's going to be straight out of nowhere, and you know it's from this man right here. I gave a good laugh at it and I just had to grab it because who knew those two would write a book together. Alright, we then grabbed The Heir Apparent. I almost didn't grab this one, but it was kind of like one of those things where I had seen it a couple weeks ago, didn't grab it, saw it when there was only 2 left, so I grabbed one. And I didn't read anything about it, but then I saw somebody else talk about it and they said it's like Princess Diaries. It's kind of essentially that, where it's someone who's the granddaughter of the Queen of England. She's basically denounced, saying, hey, I don't want anything to do with royalty. And she lives in Tasmania, like on the other side of the world, basically. And then her father and her brother die in a car accident, I think. No, a skiing accident. So her father and her brother die in a skiing accident, and so she is the next technical heir. She has to, like, you know, go back home and basically do what Mia Thermopolis did in Princess Diaries and go through all the motions and then decide if she wants to, while also battling the fact that her uncle, her dad's brother, is trying to say, no, I'm heir, when really he's the spare, because bloodline follows the child's, not the brother's. But yeah, decided to grab it off of that. And then I remember when I got home and I was looking at this and I was like reading the inside and Chris was in front of me and he was like, whoa, and I went, what? This is a weird thing to me. Why is just the back a picture of the author? I don't know. It's kind of scary. So I just kind of find that a little weird. Not even like about her. The about her is on the inside. But like, okay. And then this next one. This is my problem. I think we've seen this before. I just grab a book because it looks cool. I believe this is book 2 in a series. It's The King's Ransom by Janet Evanovich. The cover is kind of giving Indiana Jones, but woman. The inside had this beautiful painting. The book has this etching with like hieroglyphics, and it says Gabrielle Rose embarks on a global hunt to track down missing masterpieces in the action-packed, widely entertaining follow-up to the first book, The Recovery Agent. And I was like, crap. So there's another book out there which I'm gonna have to grab first before I read this one, but I just think whoever did the art on this did a stunning job. It's beautiful and I'm a sucker for a beautiful book. But my Costco did really good with books this last year. I've gotten a handful of them. A lot of hardcovers that I've eventually found at Target later on. The Costco ones are obviously like cheaper, not like a couple bucks cheaper, like a full $8-9 cheaper than what the Target ones are. So go Costco. Okay, book of the month. We had discussed these real quick during my January TBR, but I decided to grab The Rings of Fate by Marissa de la Cruz. It has the beautiful rings, which is the book of the month one, and we have our inside looking all pretty. I love when they do this to hardcover books. I think it's gives a little something. This author, I didn't know. When I read about her, it says her novel, The Isle of the Lost, is the prequel to the Disney Channel original movie Descendants. And then she has this book, which just seems really good. And it's book 1 of a series, so we'll see. And then I did also have 2 books for free. Again, this was Girl Math. Somebody had used my link, two people have used my link, and I got 2 free books for it. So thank you for whoever did that. I really appreciate it. I did end up grabbing 4 more books, so I did end up paying for 2, but 2 of these were technically free. And so to go over those 4 books, I did get Most Eligible by Isabel Engel. Georgia Rose is not going on the hit reality dating show Love Shack to find love. She's there to write a killer expose on the producers, which will guarantee the journalism job of her dreams. The host of the show comes out to be someone she had a one-night stand with like a year ago. It's not The Bachelor, it's the host of the show. Yeah? But it's not the person who's supposed to be, like, who she's supposed to, like, want to be with in the show. It's the person who hosts it. So you can kind of see where that's going to mess up the show a little bit. And we all know that those shows are heavily produced. We'll see. It just seemed like a fun read. I don't really watch The Bachelor. I've never really liked that show or The Bachelorette or any of those shows in general. We only like Rock of Love and Flavor of Love in this home. And I Love New York. And I Love Tila Tequila. You know, that era. Those are my type of shows, not The Bachelor. Like I said, we're reading this next. I'm so excited for this. I just really want to read this right now. Alice Sweeney is my husband's wife. I just need to read this. I need to know what happens. It's giving the movie Obsessed vibes with Ali Larter and Beyonce, because that movie is so good. And I love that movie. And I remember seeing that in theaters with my friend, and we were just like, oh. And it's giving that, maybe, but that's all I think about. And so I kind of want to just dive into this and see what's going on. I'm so excited to read this book. We then have The Odds of You by Kate Dramis. So this book is about an author, and she is like a recent bestseller, and she's struggling to write her second novel. And she gets into a position at an airport with an up-and-coming actor. People think he's her girlfriend. Okay, they try to convince people that there's nothing going on between them, and she ends up going to Scotland to clear her head and write. She expects peace, not Theo crashing back into her life, but the mistake she runs from might just be the greatest miscalculation of her heart. We have another Scotland. Wasn't there another one? Yeah, Rock, Paper, Scissors went to Scotland too, so we have another Scotland book. And it just looks like a good book. And then when I did go to Barnes & Noble's that second time, there was a whole table dedicated to this book. So I was like, well, it's a good thing I picked it up in Book of the Month, because I have this version of it now. Oh, and then this one. This one I know is going to be spicy, spicy, spicy. This is Rebecca John P's The Wicked. It's an enemies to lovers, and it's extra spicy, is what the Book of the Month app says. It says it's gruesome, but I believe it's mafia. He's the king of the mafia kings, yeah. If I remember correctly, I think I saw someone talk about this, and they said, so it's a mafia and heist romance collide in a scorchingly intense and unforgettable tale. But I think this one has a cliffhanger, and there's a second book, and then there's a third book coming out. And someone said they are like on pins and needles trying to wait for that book to come out, because Loving the Wicked is the second book and Bride of the Wicked is the third book. It's the Wicked trilogy, a dark mafia romance series featuring a slow burn, second chance romance with revenge and heist elements. I'm in. The last bit of girl math is coming with this next set of books, if I can grab them all. The next set is the Book Outlet. Now, my last book haul video, the last book haul of 2025, I had a Book Outlet order, and they sent my one order in 2 separate boxes, and each box had a coupon for a future order, and that was $10 off a $50 order. 2 separate codes. So it's like, you know what? We're going to save those and we're going to wait. It started on January 3rd. And I happened to start looking at books on January 2nd. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go look at bookoutlet.com. We're going to see what they got. And I had thought the coupon started on the 1st. It did not. It started on the 3rd. So I had to wait. And waiting actually made me lose a book I really wanted. And I was very, very sad. It's okay. We got over it. And we got some books. We are going to start with the non-fantasy ones first. They had one Frederick Bachman. They had Anxious People. I'm dying to read the Beartown series. I am waiting for that to go on sale, or like a book sale to come up so that I can buy them, because I basically only buy books on sale. They had Anxious People, so I thought I'd grab it. I have a feeling I will cry at every single one, and that's okay. She's a Pisces. We cry at everything. Expect tears. This next book I grabbed just out of the fact that I have the first book, and I have a feeling I might like it, and this one is Playing by the Rules. The first book is Playing Hard to Get. This is Monica Murphy. It's the Player series. I think so far there's 3. I don't know if there's going to be more. I have the first one. I have a feeling I'm going to like it. I sometimes just love a good, I want to say a good, what's probably going to be a good, easy read of a sports romance. And sometimes the college ones are a little easier for me to read. I don't know where I'm going with that. But I feel like they're going to be good in between fantasy worlds, especially if I read series after series. I'd want to read like a romance in between, just to kind of like make sure I don't mix up my magic systems in my head. I wanted to kind of grab this one. The first one looks really good, and I just thought I'd grab the second one because it was there. These next 2 are Chloe Liese, Liese. I've had book 2 for the longest time of this series, not realizing that it was book 2. It's a trilogy, I think. Well, a trilogy. It's an interconnected series of 3 books. It's the Wilmot sisters, so I grabbed book 1, which is 2 Wrongs Make a Right, and book 3, which is Once Smitten, Twice Shy. And she has a whole other series, the Bergman brothers. That's like 7 books. And I think I own 4 of those. And it's like I own 2, 3, 5, and 7. And I've always tried to like grab them from bookoutlet.com just to like finish out the series, but I haven't. But I was able to finish this one out, so I grabbed these 2. Again, just some romance. We then grabbed Kayla Olsen's The Reunion I love her book, The Lodge. I first listened to it on audiobook, absolutely loved it, but I really liked her writing in that one, and so I wanted to read this one. This one is about Liv, who was a child star on a TV show, and then stepped away when she got a little bit older, and they there's talks about rebooting the show, and so she's reunited with her cast, and one of them is Ransom is his name. And it was her co-star, and at the time they were like best friends, but like when they meet up again, it's kind of like a possible chance at love. But again, I just really liked her writing in The Lodge, and so I really wanted to grab this one so I could continue her backlog. I think it should be a good read. Okay, the next three, I have finished out I think it's 7 book. I think there's an 8th book, but I'm not sure. But this is the Puck series by Helena Hunting. I got book 4, 6, and 7, I believe. So Forever Puck, Pucked Off, and Pucked Under. And these are also the sprayed edges versions. This one's a little smaller, so it doesn't have the people on it. But this will make the complete series, and it means I have all sprayed edges except for book 1. So I'm going to be on the hunt for that on Pango Books. So if anybody knows anybody who has that, please link it below or something so that I can get it and finish out the sprayed edges series. Haven't started reading it, but I know I will devour this as long as we get the sport right in this, because if there is anything missing or wrong about the sport of hockey, I tend to like DNF very quickly or just not even want to continue. If you mess up this sport and you didn't do your research, that's your fault, and I don't like it. Okay, I need a drink of water. All right, we're down to the last stack. The next book I got, Foxglove, Adeline Grace. This is book 2 to the Belladonna series. These covers are so stunning. I almost got the Wisteria one as well, but they only had either large print or hardcover available, so I skipped out on those because I didn't want to have 2 paperbacks and then a hardcover. So we have the second book in that series in case we like that one, which I have a feeling we're gonna love. And then grab some books I've never heard people talk about that just seemed fun. It was just kind of one of those things where I needed like one more book to end each section to go over the $50 limit so I could get my $10 off, you know, because girl math. This one caught my eye. This is Catherine Ann Kingsley. It's To Charm a Dark Prince. This one I remember caught me. This one just seems really fun. It says, unwillingly transported to the magical realm of Avalon, Gwen finds herself in the hands of its dark and beautiful ruler, the rival Prince in Iron, Mordred. Unlike his uncle, the King Arthur of legend, Mordred is feared as a tyrant, trapping anyone with magic in an enchanted crystal prison. When Gwen is captured after discovering her own magical talent, she strikes a deal with Mordred's enemy. If she can seduce the prince and break the crystal, they will show her how to use her magic to return home. Mordred shows a strange gentleness to Gwen. He allows her to join his court, treating her as a treasured guest. And despite promising each day to imprison her in the crystal, he only draws her closer, fanning the flames of desire between them into an inferno. But how long will this love last when he discovers her betrayal? Seems like a fun read. It's a smaller one. We are just under 300 pages, it looks like. Just a tish over 300. And it just seems like a fun read. And I've never heard anyone talk about it, so I wanted to grab it. Okay, this next one. Stunning. Okay, first of all, I'm not really one for sprayed edges on a paperback, especially if it's just like plain colored. But like, do you see this? Do you see this golden black? And then this cover. I didn't even see this when I first grabbed it. I remember seeing this face, but I don't remember seeing the shattered version of it next to it. It is so beautiful. Exquisite Ruin by Adrienne May. This one, it says it's the Labyrinth Book 1. It's a dark romantic reimagining of the Minotaur myth. A sorceress and a demon are entwined in sensual battle to escape a deadly maze and reclaim their freedom. It says, in this deadly maze, the most dangerous thing may be the passion between them. But I am just obsessed with this cover. I'm excited to read this one. Okay, this next one. The Book Outlet has a section that's retelling, and I've wanted to get into retellings of like fables. And this one is like a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. It's Until the World Falls Down by Jordan Lind. And it says it's a dark fantasy romance inspired by Labyrinth, featuring a heartbroken woman who makes a bargain with a cursed immortal being, giving her 48 hours to escape his magical labyrinth or become his eternal lover. You had me at Labyrinth and Beauty and the Beast. And this one does have sprayed edges again. It's an okay one. It's a what I think a simple fantasy cover, but this should be a fun read. Her freedom or her heart. In 48 hours, she'll lose one forever. Yeah, Labyrinth meets Beauty and the Beast. In this spellbinding, sexy, romantasy debut about a woman with a broken heart, the seductive immortal who imprisons her, the magical labyrinth that may be her salvation, and the dangerous attraction that could destroy them both. Sign me up. They did also have Apprentice to the Villain, which is book 2 to Assistant of the Villain. Again, I think this is going to be a fun read. Like I said, I've just only heard people talk about how they laugh during these books, and I love a good laugh. Grabbed it. I already had the first one, so I was like, might as well grab the second one. Next, we have A Song to Drown Rivers by Anne Liang. Haven't read anything by her yet, but I've heard nothing but good things. I think I've seen people cry reading this. Can't say I've ever cried from a book, but I know some of these are going to start bringing in the tears, and we're okay with that. We're accepting that. I didn't know this was hardcover when I grabbed it, but I'm kind of glad it is, because yes, we have the nice cover, we have a nice little inside, but my favorite, we have this simple foiled sword. It says the mind destroys, the heart devours. And I just have this vision of, what is it? I have this one, and there's Sword Heart by T. Kingfisher that has a burgundy and light blue sword cover just like this. And I have a vision of putting them next to each other on the shelf when they're all done and read to make them look like pretty on my shelves. But yeah, haven't heard much of this. Just know it's going to be a really good book, and it has had really good reviews on it, so we grabbed that one. Okay, this next one, I think everybody's seen it. It's Rose in Chains by Julie Soto. I need to read this book. I've been looking for it forever. They had it, and I couldn't pass it up. I really wanted the paperback version just because I am a paperback girly, but I was like, you know what, they have it, we're grabbing it. I had looked for it for a month and nobody had it, and so I was like, they have it, we're grabbing it. But if I remember correctly, this is supposed to be a Hermione fanfic, essentially, which I have yet to read, but as somebody who has seen those movies and has comfort in those movies, unfortunately, their creator is an awful human being. I think this is going to be really good. I've heard people just rave about this book, and I just need to read it. And I loved their characters, and like I can totally see it. I can see where the fanfic comes out of it, and I'm so excited to read this one. Okay, this next one, this is where I get a little upset. So when I first looked at the book outlet on January 2nd, they had 2 books that were semi-special editions, and I was like, ooh, these are pretty, the sprayed edges. I've wanted this version of the series for so long. They had the first 2 books. I had them in my cart. I had them ready to go. By the time it hit the 3rd, the first book in the series was sold out. I didn't even see that it was low in stock, and they sold out of it, so I couldn't get it. But I still grabbed the second one because I'm still determined to grab book 1 and 3. And so the one that I grabbed was Mia Corlin's Four Ruined Realms, and it's the one that has the sprayed edges on the side with the character. They had 5 broken blades, and it, like I said, it was in my cart, and I was ready just to hit purchase. But when I refreshed it, it was gone, and it was the red one with the character on it, and I was like, no! I could have had it. I didn't get it, but I still got this one, so I'm still going to hold this one and hold out for the other 2 because they didn't have the 3rd one. The 3rd one is Three Shattered Souls, but I've heard really good things about this trilogy. But yeah, not only does it have the beautiful side, we do have the art on the inside, and then this cover. These covers are killing me because this, like, the black with the gold, they're so pretty. Why are we making books so pretty? They're making them so hard to not buy. Like I said, I'm gonna hold out for the other 2. I was so mad, but it's okay. We're good. We got a ton of other books, and we're done with books for a very long time. That's the last one of this, so we're done talking about books. Like I said in the beginning, fingers crossed we're not gonna do another one. I want to read through most of what I have first before I even do a haul. I've been thinking about doing the 75 booked challenge just because that would be 75 days, which is literally like almost a quarter of a year. I think it's such a brilliant idea because I do pretty much read, I would say, probably a few hours a day. Especially these days I've been very much reading on my lunch break, which I literally have a 45-minute lunch break. And then after work, if I'm not cooking that night, I literally have between 5 and 10 p.m. to do nothing but read. And so I've been thinking about doing 75 books because 1, I need the water, 2, I need to not spend money, 3, it'll make me really focus on reading my books. That may be coming around. We'll see. I don't know. We're kind of doing a little too much right now, and she's getting a little overwhelmed, and I don't want to overwhelm myself, or else then I will stop. And I enjoy this. I enjoy talking about books, and I don't want to not get tired of talking about books. I am right now though, because my throat is killing me talking about all these. I am just like getting over the flu as well. That's been my last couple days. It's been interesting, but I think we're all set for 2025. No. Wow. Get out of here. I think we're all set for 2026. We have one more book left in my January TBR prompt pick, so I'm feeling very good about myself in that way. Good start to the year, and hopefully setting myself up for success. With that, I'm ending this video. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you're still here, I very much appreciate it. Thank you for dealing with my ranting and semi-talking about books and going into them, but then not at the same time. If you feel like commenting below, let me know which one of these books that you have read and your opinion, or one that you are looking forward to. Like this video if you want, subscribe if you want. I'm not gonna pressure you, and I will see you on the next one.